Hi there. Okay, so today on the Mess Cook, we are doing strawberry lemonade syrup. So this is like a strawberry lemonade concentrate, and I've taken all the strawberry tops you would have seen all in my last video. And what I've done is I put them in water. I forgot to tape this part. I missed it a little bit, so my apologies. I put them in, so filled it up. I didn't measure how many cups it is yet, but I'm going to measure that. I put it in my pot and I covered it just to the top of it with water. And I've cooked it down. I've been bringing it up to, it's on a little bit of a simmer now. Actually, I better turn that back up because it was simmering. I've turned it up to a little bit of a simmer. And I've taken my immersion blender and blended it up a little bit. Now, the only reason I did that is because they weren't breaking down very well using just my potato masher. So I used the immersion blender. So basically what I'm doing is I want to keep this at a simmer, and I'm going to simmer this for about 15, maybe 20 minutes. And you can see here at the edges there, it's bubbling up a little bit. Sorry, I can't see from the smoke here, but oh, okay, it's turned down again. So anyhow, we want to have this to a bubbling simmer, and we're going to simmer for 20 minutes. This is just, I'm going to call it a rebel canning. This is my first time making this. So I probably had a good 4 to 5 cups of strawberry tops. So these are the ones I just chopped off and scooped out. You can save them up through the year in a freezer bag in your freezer and use them for this recipe because there's still a ton of flavor in these berries. So you can see it simmering. I'm going to simmer that for 20 minutes. I'm going to come back, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it through a sieve, and I'm going to see how many cups I have left here. I had 2 1/4 cups of lemon juice, so that's what we're going to use. This is bottled lemon juice. You can use fresh if you want, whatever you have in your area that's quickest or easiest. Lemons are not that cheap right now here, so I'm using bottled lemon juice, so we're going to test that and see how it works. So when we're all done, I'm going to strain it through my sieve. This is a really fine mesh one, so this should get everything out. If it's not fine enough, you can put in some cheesecloth, and I might actually do that just to catch the strawberry seeds because I don't like the idea of that. We're going to add it to this liquid here, so we're going to see how many cups I have total. For every cup of liquid you have between the strawberries and the lemons, you want 1 cup of sugar. Now, I may narrow that down to like 2/3 of a cup because I don't know if I need it that sweet. And then we're going to cook it. So when we get to that point and these other berries here are all done, we will come back and I'll get you started on the next stop. Okay, so the strawberries have been simmering for 20 minutes. And if I can find where I put my oven mitts, there we go. I'm going to bring, sorry, this is a strawberry tops. You could use just strawberries if you want. If you don't have the strawberry tops, feel free to use just pure strawberries. The ones bruised ones are ones that are ready to go but not moldy. You can use those as well. So as you can see here, I'm just going to move this in just a little bit. So this is basically the strawberries that, like I said, I pureed them a little bit in the water. So what I want to do is I'm just going to use my ladle. I've put a little bit of cheesecloth in here with a fine mesh strainer just to make sure that we don't get any of the strawberry seeds. We might get a couple. I'm not overly worried if we do. And what I want to do is just strain this through and get all of the juice, and we'll see how many cups we end up with. This is just, like I said, it was probably about 4 to maybe 5 cups of strawberry tops. So we're just going to strain this through, and I will let you know what we get out of it when we come back. We're going to add that to the lemon juice and go from there. Okay, so I took the cheesecloth out. This is becoming more of a hindrance than helpful. And I'm just pouring this through. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting it through this fine mesh strainer. And then I have one that's a little bit finer. So I will pour however many cups we have here through the secondary strainer. You can also use a coffee filter if you have one. That might work as well. I know lots of people use Keurigs nowadays, so coffee filters aren't always on hand, but the cheesecloth is okay. It's just taking forever to go through, and I'd rather just double strain and speed up the process, as I already made some jams today and it's hot in my kitchen and I don't really want to be in hot much longer. So we'll continue to strain this and be back in a moment. Okay, so this is the last of it. I'm just squeezing through a little bit here, and it looks like we have just about 8 cups. So that's perfect. and it smells delicious. I'll have to try a little taste of it on the spoon. Of course, I'll blow on it so it's not too hot. Now all of this here, there's no sugar or anything in this yet. This is just pure strawberry pulp. From, like I said, I kind of pureed it up a little bit just so it would get all those flavors out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that pulp. I'm going to put it in my little bin here, which I have, there we go. This year I started a compost, so hopefully we'll have some beautiful compost for next year. So there's my 2 cups of lemon juice. I'm going to pour in the 8 cups there of the strawberry syrup, and I just want to do this one more time, and you can see that's turning a beautiful pink color. And what I want to do is strain that through one more time in case I miss any pieces, any more seeds, and there was some seeds at the bottom. And you can see putting it through the strainer a second time was actually a very good idea, as I've gotten the rest of those seeds out. So that gives me about, with everything, it's going to give me about 10 cups of sorry, let me think here. This would have been 8 cups of strawberry puree and 2 cups of lemon juice. So like I said, you can use, I repeated myself again because I do that a lot. 8 cups of strawberry juice and 2 cups of, a little bit over 2 cups of lemon. So I'm going to put this back on the stove. I'm going to add in the sugar. So with 10 cups, I think I'm going to do 7 cups of sugar. I don't want to do it overly sweet, but I do want to make sure it's going to be sweet enough. I'm also going to give this a stir here. That's a really pretty color. So let me just take a little bit of that, and I just want to see from the, I know it's going to be a little bit sour too, but I want to taste from the sweetness of the strawberries. Ooh, that's sour, but you can definitely taste the strawberries. So yeah, I'm going to put in about, I think, 7 cups of sugar, and then we're going to get this cooking. And I'll get that all set on the stove and come back in a moment. Okay, so I've got the burner on high right now, and I've measured out 7 cups of sugar. So what I want to do is get this all in. Make sure you have a good thick bottomed pot. So my purpose of this is make a syrup, not a jam. So we're gonna just add all that sugar in. There we go. And let me just pour the rest of that in. There we go. So what we want to do is we want to get this moving around here. Let me find my wooden spoon. That's that off from earlier. So I'm getting the seasoning on it. There we go. And we're just going to stir this and stir this. And we want the sugar to melt into that. And now I've watched a number of recipes online, and the Ball Book of Canning one says to bring it to 190 degrees. So you don't want it boiling. Some people are saying boil it down for 15 minutes till it's syrupy. I don't want it super syrupy. I want this as more of a juice concentrate, or something you could add into some soda water, or you can put into iced tea, just to make it nice and lovely. So I am going to get out my thermometer, and I'm going to do what the Ball Book of Canning says, and I'm going to bring this to 190. Once that's done, what we're going to do, so I'm going to set that on the side there. Once that's at 190, I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it in jars. Hopefully we'll get, 6 or 7 good sized jars. I'm trying to find my thermometer here. There we go. And then we're going to do a water bath can, and that water bath can we want to have going for, let's see if I can get this holding somewhere where it won't fall over. Well, that's not great, but that'll do. Well, I think I'm just going to have to check that. For some reason, it doesn't want to hold on the side of my pot, so that's okay. So we'll fill the jars. We will water bath can this for 15 minutes, and that should seal the jars nicely. So I'm going to let this come up to temperature and check it periodically, and we'll come back when we get to the canning stage. In the meantime, I have my big pot on here, and it's full enough that it should cover, I'm going to do 2 cup jars of 500 ml jars, so that should cover them up. So we'll continue with this, and I will come back when we're at the right temperature. All right, so the water's on and simmering up for doing the water bath on these, and you can see here this has come up. I checked and it was about 195, so it went a little bit over what it's supposed to be. I also tasted it. If you do, be sure to let it cool down. Don't let it burn your mouth. And for me, it's a perfect sweetness and perfect tartness. So I will add the recipe of what I did in the description so you can see. I'm going to fill these up. So I have 6 500 ml jars. This happens to be what I have on hand, and 3 250 ml. So we'll see what we get with that. And if I have to, I can grab a few more jars. So make sure your jars are sterilized and warm when you add them in. I've taken these ones out of the oven just a couple minutes ago. Also want to make sure your lids are clean. Now I'm using the 4 jars lids, and again, those 4 jars lids don't need to be boiled, but if you are more comfortable doing that, then feel free to do it. I do want to leave just about an inch of headspace, probably do less, maybe half an inch of headspace at the top, and that just gives it a little bit of room for expansion when we're doing the water bath. And I'm just going to continue to fill these up and see how many we get, and we'll come back and get them in the water bath. Okay, so I've ended up with 6 500 ml jars and 3 250 mils. I'm just wiping the tops of the lids. I also have not quite a cup here. I'm just going to keep that in the fridge. I'll grab another mason jar and just put it in the fridge, and we can just use that, you know, over the next few days. So I don't have to do a whole nother jar. I probably could fit it in a small one, but that's okay. And I'm wiping the rims, as again, you have to wipe all your rims. You don't want anything between the rim of the jar and the rubber on the seal. We want a good proper seal. So I'm just going to finish these few off. Wipe my container, or my counter I should say, because that's getting a little bit sticky there. But that's okay, they'll wash off in the canner. I'm going to get lids on these, and I have to get a few lids out. And we're going to get these in the canner and process once it comes to boil for 15 minutes. And we will have some lemonade, and I'll show you with this other one what I do with it. So let me get those lids and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done up the 3 small ones, and I just opened a new pack of my 4 jars canning lids for the wide mouths. I didn't use wide mouth very often, but I've started to use them more in the last year, and honestly, I'm really liking them. I'm finding, depending on what you're making, it's easier. Like this would be fine in the non-wide mouth jars, but I do like them because it's easier. If you're making something bulky, it's easier to pour it. Like if you're canning potatoes, or you're doing a meal in a jar, anything like that. So I wipe the rims. I'm just putting these on again, finger tight. Ooh, very, very hot. Burn my fingers there if I'm not careful. And my hands are a little tougher. There we go. So I'll get these on here. We're going to get them in the canner and get them processing. And I'll show you getting those in, and I'll show you getting them out. I want to make sure that these are covered with water by at least a centimeter to an inch, but you do want them covered. Not everybody does that. I do. This way I know that the entire jar is being processed the way it's supposed to. So I'm going to move over here to the stove, and we'll get those jars in. Alright, so that water is boiling, which is exactly what we want because it's super hot liquid. So hot liquid, hot jars, hot canner. So let's get all of these in. I hope they all fit. If not, well, I can do more, but I think I'll be able to fit these all in. There's only 6 of the larger ones. And worst come to worst, if you have a lot, you can always, I have a second insert that I could put on the top and cover with, you know, put it down, like put on top of these jars and then add more jars in. If I needed to, we could do a double layer. As long as those are covered, like I said, by an inch, and then you know you're fine. So you would just top it with water, bring it to the boil, and then once it's brought to the boil, then you start your timer. So right now I'm going to shimmy these around because I really want to fit them all in, and I don't want to have to do a second batch. And I've got 2 more little ones to go in. So let's get those in there. There we go. And 1 more. Perfect. So that extra little bit that I had left over, I'm going to keep in the fridge. I would not have been able to fit in. So it's already boiling. I'm going to put the timer on for 15 minutes. And when that's done, we're going to get them out of there. And we are done. We just have to wait 24 hours till they seal. Once they've sealed, we're set to go. If they don't seal, After 24 hours, just keep them in the fridge. So we'll come back when these are all processed and we'll get them out. Right, so this strawberry lemonade concentrate, whatever you want to call it, has processed for 15 minutes and it's all done. So we're going to take that out. You can see how beautiful that is. Look at that, absolutely lovely. So I'm going to get these in here. Again, I like to put, as I said in the jam video, I do like to have a little bit of paper towel in the bottom, or you can put a regular towel, whatever works for you or not. For me, I put that in only because it just picks up a couple drips of water from the lid and whatnot as the jar goes. So again, I ended up with 9 jars total. I'm going to get the rest of these out and I'm going to make a glass with the other syrup that I had left over and show you how it works out. Okay, so I am going to try this with, I filled my glass with ice. I'm going to count that as a little of the water and I'm going to see how much we actually need here. So for the moment, I'm going to use 1/4 cup of the syrup, and I'm just using good old-fashioned tap water. You can also use water from your fridge. You can use bottled water. So I'm going to add 1, 2. I'm going to try 2. Normally I would think this is like a 1-to-3 ratio, 1 part of the syrup to 2 parts water, but because I've added so much ice, and I added a lot of ice because the syrup was still a little bit warm. Let's see what this does here. Oh, that's perfect. So I think if you do 1 part, whether it's, if you want to do a whole jar, you can do 1 jar, whether it's 1 cup jar or a 2 cup jar, 1 jar of the syrup right here. That's just what I have left over, and you're going to do 3 parts of water. So if you're doing ice, I would do 2 parts of water, 1 part ice, 1 part syrup. So yeah, I think you're going to love this. This is really nice. It's not too tart. If you like it a little more tart, you can add more lemon juice. I wrote the recipe out and I'm going to put a little picture of that at the end, and I really do hope you try this. This is a great way to use your strawberry scraps. You know, everything costs so much money these days. This is a waste not, want not. So if you can make it, doesn't take that much time, a little bit of effort, a little sugar, some leftover berry tops, just save them through the year. Do them once or twice a year and you can have this delicious syrup. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you subscribe if you haven't to my channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know if you tried this. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care.